Hi everybody. I am correcting the mistake that I had made in my initial videos. A special thanks to Dhruv who pointed out that these were the mistakes. So I start with question number 7. I had made actually total 4 mistakes. So this one is question number 7, where it is a mathematics question, and it says which one of the following options represents the given graph? The graph is like this. Actually, this I should, if I can delete. No, I don't think I can delete it. Let me see. No, I deleted it. Okay. So the graph is actually, the original graph is like this. Okay. Now, the question is which of the following options is actually representing this graph? So, first one is fx, which is x square times 2 to the power minus mod x. So, I had drawn this graph. Actually, I asked a University of Texas at Austin student. He is a PhD student in computational engineering. So, his math is very good, at least better than mine. I am economics guy, so I am not the best mathematician, but I am rated as one of the best economists. But well, we can make mistakes always. We are human beings. So he said that, well, this one is starting with x square. So if we draw it, it will be a parabola. So then I said, okay, leave it. It is not a parabola. Then actually the discussion was on whether B is correct or C is correct. So I had given him that my answer initial was C, and then he said, well, C cannot be the answer because it is mod x, and mod x is not differentiable at 0, and this function is actually differentiable at 0. So it is continuous. Hence, C couldn't be the answer. And then I said, okay, I was impressed by his answer. So he showed me the graph, and it was actually V shaped. The graph of C would be exactly like, okay, let me change the color so that you are able, let me have it with a green color, and then I erase it this part so that it doesn't confuse you. Now I draw the graph like this. So the graph of C would be straight here, it will meet 0, and from here it will be straight like this. It will be symmetric, both will be symmetric, and that had confused me because I had thought that, well, this side is symmetric to this side, and so I had said C. But actually, whenever you have mod x graph, it is not differentiable at this point. There is sharp turn from here to here, so actually at this point it is discontinuous. So that is the graph of C. And then he showed me the graph of B on his mm, calculator, and that was like this. I draw it in red color. So it was continuous here, first of all. It went up to a certain point, and then it turned. So and turned, it happened like this, and it went down also to in the symmetric manner here like this, and then it turned up. So initially he said that, well, since this was highly pronounced, it is just that it is not drawn to a scale, and if it is not drawn to a scale, then this graph can be like this. The thing is that it reaches a maximum at certain point of action and then comes down. So that is only the B is the answer. So I correct it, and please update your knowledge that it is B is the correct answer. And the thing to learn was that whenever you have something like mod x in the graph here, and then times any value, or only just mod x, then it won't be differentiable at point x is equal to 0. So C couldn't be the answer. This one is parabola, and since B is the answer, then I move to this one. Should be only one sided. This won't go on both the sides probably. So that's why, though he had shown me the graph of this, but then I forgot right now because I didn't pay attention on this. I paid attention only on those three, and when I got the answer was B, so I moved forward. Now I go to question number 10, and here in question number 10, this one is the interesting question, actually, very interesting question. So it says that a square with sides of length 6 centimeter is given. Means here is the length of the 6 centimeter. The boundary of the shaded region is defined by two semicircles whose diameters are the sides of the square as shown. So the diameter of both the circle is 6 centimeters, so R is 3. The area of the shaded region is, since the area of a circle is pi r square and pi r is here 3, so it will be 9p, and this part of circle is 1/4 of that. So area of this circle is 9 by 4p, and area of this one is also 9 by 4p. Yeah, so both these are equal, 9 by 4 pi. Well, Greeks call it p and we Indians call it pi, because I had a Greek student in my class when I was doing PhD in economics. So 9 by 4 pi. Okay. So definitely the area of these two is 9 by 2 pi. Okay. So that's why when we add 9 by 4 plus 9 by 4, same way the area of this 1/4 of this circle and area of this 1/4 of this circle is also 9 by 2 pi. So that way we get 9 by 2 pi, 9 by 2 pi. What is the area of this entire rectangle? It is obviously 9. Okay. So we have to find the area of this white part. So what is this white part? So what we do, that sum of these areas I calculated, and then the sum of this entire three rectangles, means three squares, which is the 3/4 of this big square, is actually 27. So I found these 9 by 2 is all the shaded region, and this one is the 9 by 2 but not completely shaded region. So I deducted it from this part to annul that, and then minus 9 is the area of this, that I also deducted, and then I added 27. So this gives me equal to 18 value. Now, so that makes us that answer B is the correct answer. Now, why did I deduct this part? Means, why did I deduct this part from 9 by 2? So here I see that this part of sum and this part of triangle which is on this triangle, this one is 9 by 2 and this one is also 9 by 2. So I added them twice. Okay. And then the area of this triangle was 4.5 and this triangle was 4.5. So I had to deduct it also twice. So that way this became 9. So 9 by 2 minus pi actually gives the area of this part, this black part and this black part. So 9 by 2 pi minus 9 by 2 pi is the area of that shaded region. So since I am adding all these, though it is not needed actually, but since I am adding all those three once again, that's why I deducted all these. So to find this area of shaded region, I had deducted 9 by 2 minus this part, so that I get the area of the shaded region, and that's why I deducted. So answer turns out to be B. Now I go to page 26, which is question number 39. So actually it is on page, here is the question number 39, and this question is actually, it doesn't require any knowledge of theory or mathematics, just a specific knowledge, so it doesn't have any analysis. It is like this. Many scholars consider the study conducted by Dandecker and Ruth in the 1960s as the first systematic assessment of poverty in independent India. Which option from the following is not correct about the study? So I had to go to the paper published in 1970, and that is here at www.jstore.org stable/4831. So if you click this site, you will get that paper. It is not a very big paper. It is only one page paper, and you will get all the information. So in that paper, this information was given that the study used the data on monthly per capita consumption expenditure from 1960-61 round to national of the sample survey. Why did they use monthly per capita consumption expenditure as a measure of poverty? Because if people have money but they don't eat, they save it, then actually they are poor. Means they are not well nourished. So that's why whether the people have that much money to spend on food is the deciding factor for poverty level. So he used that consumption expenditure, and then option B, the study used the identical calorie norm for rural and urban areas. Yes, it is correct. And the calorie amount was 2250 calories per day. And then the third one, the poverty head count ratio estimated by a study was higher for rural areas than that for urban areas. Actually, this one is wrong. He had given the data in the paper, it is clearly written about one third. So 34% in the rural area. So this one is the head count ratio. So the exact figure was actually 135 million in rural areas. And then in urban areas, it was 54%. This exact figure was given in the paper. So if you look there, then you will find this in. So this information is actually, it would have been the opposite. Means the headcount ratio was higher for rural, no, it was lower for rural areas, and for urban areas it was higher. Now the situation has changed though. Now people in rural areas are more poor than people in urban areas. But that's why probably that was the reason why GATE asked this question. Then D, the study used the same poverty line for all states. This is also correct. Though this is not part of that paper, but that paper definitely, one page paper tells this clearly. So C is the correct answer. Now I go to the last question, 65, which is really interesting actually. So, very interesting for economics student, and it is a question of monopoly where this marginal utility and marginal cost and marginal revenue equation doesn't work. So here the question is this one. A monopolist is facing the demand function Q, which is equal to 100 by P minus 1, where Q is the quantity demanded and P is the price per unit of the good. P is actually greater than 1. Here is the hint that P must be greater than 1. The average variable cost of the monopolist is 4 by root Q. So it is a rectangular hyperbola. It is declining, and since average variable cost is declining, most likely marginal cost is also declining, and the fixed cost is 10. So the profit maximizing price is, now we calculate this. So I had done initially using marginal revenue and marginal cost, which is here, and that gave me a P of 26. So, but actually this is not correct answer, because in this case the marginal revenue curve is always rising, though this equation gives this marginal revenue equal to 1, so it should be flat, but actually it is not. So I ran a simulation on Excel, and I had got the point of 26 by doing that. So I checked that, okay, let's see what happens when P is equal to 26. So when P is equal to 26, then Q is equal to 4. Total revenue is PQ, which is equal to 104, and total cost is equal to 18, because 18 comes from 4 divided by root 4 is 2. So 2 times Q, which is 4. So 8 is the total variable cost and 10 is the fixed cost. So that way 18 is the fixed total cost, and hence profit is 104 minus 18 is equal to 86. So I did it on Excel. So there is no error in mathematics term or mathematical value. Now I reduced it to 15. And then I see that when P is 15, Q 7.4, revenue increases from 104 to 107, cost also increases, and total profit increases by 45 cents. So actually, this 26 is the point of minimum profit. It is not maximum profit. So here MRMC thing doesn't work. Now you see that if the quantity is reduced, means this side is Q and this is reduced, so MR increases. Means when quantity is lower, MR is higher. So MR is like this. Okay. So when quantity is 2, MR is 200. That's how I reached. So MR curve actually goes like this. So here it is like this. Now you see that MR curve is also is MR curve. Yeah, MR curve as lower the quantity, higher the MR, and higher the quantity, lower the MR. So MR curve is actually declining. Now, will this be an equilibrium? So in a monopolist, yes, it is an equilibrium because in monopoly, this marginal cost is more than marginal revenue beyond equilibrium point. So it can be an equilibrium in monopoly and in all other markets. Only in perfect competition, since MR is a horizontal parallel line. So when it is horizontally parallel, MR curve is zero is having zero slope. So MC must be rising. The thing is that MC has to be more than MR beyond equilibrium point. So that brings us the equilibrium condition. So since MC is actually more than MR, the equilibrium will happen. So the P is 2. So we will draw this line as here and we get P is equal to 2. Okay. And what is the Q then? 100. 100 is the Q. So this is our equilibrium condition for the monopolist. And how do we get this? Actually, I think everybody made it wrong. I had also made it wrong in the beginning, and Dhruv had also made it wrong. So it is all after the exams. Either you all will get the marks or nobody will get the marks. So don't get disappointed if you didn't answer it correctly. So here the thing is that we have to see the hint that P is greater than 1. And then the second hint is that it has to be in integer. So what I did, that since it was in integer, so that's why I took, and so P has to be greater than 1 and it has to be in integer. So the smallest integer is 2. And that's why I used 2 to calculate this simulation. I found that actually profit was maximum 150 when P was 2. If I put 1 P 1.10, then this profit becomes actually 9,600 and Q becomes 10,000. But then it says in integer, so the integer, the correct answer is actually 2. Well, this question was most difficult question and I hadn't seen such question in my life before. So probably the examiner took it only to test that whether nobody gets 100, because I don't think anybody can solve this unless he knows from before in 3 minutes that the gate gives. So these are the corrections that I made, and a special thanks to Dhruv Gupta again, because if you would not have pointed, I would have not remade this video and shared like this. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope you learned something. Please don't forget to like it and subscribe it, because if I make any video, you will get this new knowledge, and you all are seeking knowledge. And for me also, if I get 1,000 subscription, then I become a special, I attain a special status in YouTube. So please do subscribe it and like it also. It is free lunch for both of us. You get free knowledge and I get a special status for free because you just simply subscribed. So thank you very much again.